Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 commentary. Today we're going to be watching eMaLfans spawning as the blue human up in the upper part of the map. On the opposite side of the map we do find his opponent eMaL, indeed, spawning as the red orc down here on the lower leftish part of the map. This is Turtle Rock, so of course the map spawns are always a little bit interesting to call, but we do have eMaL, like I said. I guess he's on the lower left and eMaLfan on the upper right. Again, I guess you could say eMaLfan is at the 11 o'clock with eMaL at the 5 o'clock. So those are our positions. Now, something interesting always whenever we see eMaL versus eMaLfan, which I've never seen before, but I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of like when MoonFans played Moon. I think MoonFans is now Una, and I don't even know if he even plays anymore. But anyway, the point is, right, is that I think it's a pretty cool little matchup. You know, it's like I don't know what you would call eMaLfan, but I would call eMaL the Sensei, because that's pretty cool. The Sensei. But anyway, to get into the game, so we're not being too silly, we do have a footman coming in here from eMaLfan to scout what is this? Is a close spawn. And then he is going to find eMaL's peon. Now, try to avoid a little bit of confusion, if I may, I'm going to call eMaLfan from here on just fan, and we'll call eMaL just eMaL. So if I say fan, I'm referring to blue. If I say eMaL, I'm referring to red. So maybe I'll just even use the colors. That might even be easier. Or maybe just human or orc. We'll try that. But anyway, we're going to see the human is over here with the Archmage. Going to go ahead and Archmage creep out this bit. I'm sorry, Militia creep out this bit using for Militia a Footman as well as a Water Elemental. Over here, we're going to see the Blade Master is running in here. Scouting, trying to find the human army. And here he will indeed find this army. Will he be able to get a jack off? Will he be able to get a creep jack? Indeed he does get 32 experience from that one troll. We'll get the 32 from this one as well. No, not gonna happen. Gonna go ahead and go to eMaLfan instead, or I'm sorry, gonna go to the human instead. Indeed, we're gonna see now the Blade Master trying to pick off a peasant, goes ahead and takes one out. Should bring up to, yes, indeed, 57 experience, which is a nice amount of experience to have up to. And we're going to see him try to pick off a second peon. Will he be able to do so? It's going to be close, but I think he might. Down it goes. So nicely done. That is 2 peons, brings him up to 82 experience, almost halfway through his level 1. Pretty nice. We do see on the other side of the map, the human has now moved down here to the green camp that the orc would say, I guess the orc's natural green camp right here, right outside of his base. And he's going to go ahead and try to creep that out with using his 4 footmen underwater element. So he's going to be able to do so without any problem. Over here at this shop on the human side of the map, we're going to see the Blade Master is now picking up a circlet and probably going to go ahead and try to pick up boots here in like 1900. Let's see, will he? Yes, indeed. Goes ahead and picks up boots and a staff of teleportation. Looked like a little bit of lag right there. But anyway, we're going to see the human has coming into the orc's base, trying to break this burrow that's being canceled. Actually going to see a nice little surround on the Archmage. I guess you could say it's a surround. There's a block, but either way, we're going to force the TP on the Archmage. Nicely done. And now we're going to see that one burrow did actually get canceled, but that's not a huge deal. That War Mill is actually going to go up. And what are we seeing? What is the orc doing? I'm not actually sure. He's teching. He does not have a barracks yet. He has a War Mill and no barracks. Interesting. We're just seeing a watchtower going up. And there is a scout footman in the base that does have defend. It's defending and going to go ahead and position itself into this peasant line or peon line. And of course, when you see the peons being spread across the different burrows, that's always important because you do more damage if you have one burrow, of course, in each burrow, or one peon in each burrow rather than just one or than 2 peons in the same burrow. That's how that works out. But wouldn't that make sense, you know? But let's see what it looks like. We're going to see the Shadow Hunter on his way out. Again, that footman just chilling out right there. And now I do see the Blade Master in the human's base. Oh, is he going to be able to get this kill? He might get the kill on the Archmage, actually. Oh, he takes down the Archmage as the Archmage comes in at low HP into his base to heal up at the shop. He's not keep tech yet, so he does not have a healing potion research or available. He couldn't buy them because, of course, you have to be tier 2 to buy those, and so down goes that Archmage. Quite unfortunate. eMaLfan, I'm sorry, the human had just went to the shop and bought a pair of boots so he could run away from the Blade Master. However, you can't really do that when you're going to be taken on by surprise. And in the wake of that, we're going to see the Orc Blade Master go ahead and creep out the green natural from the human right here in front of his base. Go ahead and pick up that item, which is a Gauntlets of Strength, a nice item to have. Over here, we're going to see it looks like That footman is now going to have to be on the retreat. That watchtower has finished. And we do have one level of the spiked building barricades upgraded, which essentially means that if a melee building, a melee unit attacks this building, they take return damage. And so there is that. We've actually been seeing this upgrade more commonly in the past, and it's fairly useful against people who try to harass your burrows with footmen, especially defended footmen, because it's very hard to very difficult to damage them. But you can certainly damage them if they're just taking damage every single time they hit your burrow. So that's actually, it's a nice upgrade in all honesty. Looks like we're going to be seeing double bestiary coming in from eMaL, which is an interesting build. I mean, I'm not sure what he wants to do with double bestiary, but double bestiary it is. We're going to see some wyverns, or wind riders, wyverns, however you want to call them, but wind riders. At least there's one on the field. We might see up to 4. It's pretty rare to see more than 4, but one time I was casting a game and I thought we were going to see more than 4, and then we only saw 4, and I was like, well. And actually, this kind of reminds me of that strategy. So that might be what this is. It might be the wind rider up to 4, and then go into the raiders. But I believe that game we did see a Tauren chieftain second, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't remember. That was a while ago. We do have going ahead and seeing the Blade Master creeping out that blue ogre right there at that shot, passing the gauntlets of strength over to the Shadow Hunter. Going to go ahead and pick up a talisman evasion on that Blade Master. A little bit over halfway through level 2 on the Blade Master and the Shadow Hunter. Now just exactly halfway through level 1. And you're going to see over here the human army, the footman, I'm not sure how many footmen that is, as well as the water elemental is in this Archmage. Going to go ahead and creep out this shop themselves. Let's see, that is going to be 6 footmen, I think, 7, 3, 7, maybe 8 even? I'm not sure, let me see, 3. I can't tell there, I can't tell, it's too hard. It's too hard to count footmen when they're like in this weird position underneath units and stuff. Then we're going to see a jack coming off here from eMaL, or the orc player right here, onto this human army. There is a Mountain King actually out on the field now, right here in this battle as well. Going to go ahead and bolt that Shadow Hunter, trying to get this round off on the Shadow Hunter. Will he do so? Indeed he has, but he goes ahead and busts the Shadow Hunter out using the Windwalk glitch. You could call it a glitch. It's called jumping units. But they're going to go ahead and do that. Now the Blade Master is actually surrounded, taking the place of that Shadow Hunter. The Blade Master goes down. He did not have enough mana to get out of that with the second Windwalk. And we're going to see another bolt going off onto the Shadow Hunter. Will we see the Shadow Hunter go down as well? No, he's speed scrolling away. He's going to get away scot-free, even though he is currently slowed by a Sorceress. But, well, actually, he might not get away scot-free, because look at this. He is not getting too far away because of that slow. Another bolt going off onto the Shadow Hunter. There's going to be another slow. Will he be able to get out? He needs the Staff of Teleportation that he right now. He's tapping out. Will he be able to? Yes, indeed. Very close call. Very nicely done by eMaL. Getting that Shadow Hunter out of there. Really nicely done. It took 3 nice moves, actually. We saw 3 nice moves to get him out. A speed scroll, busting him out of that surround with the Windwalk, as well as that Staff of Teleportation after the stun wore off, and so he wouldn't die. Now, we do see over here in the humans' base, we do have 3 Wind Riders harassing some peasants. We do see them trying to power build a lumber mill, and the Archmage coming in here and summoning a Water Elemental. That is a level 3 Archmage. So that means level 2 Water Elementals, which essentially, you can see right there on the leaderboard, which essentially means the Wind Riders are going to have to back off, because that Water Elemental will just absolutely just demolish these Wind Riders. As you can see, 31 to 39 damage. It is piercing damage, and as you can see, they take extra damage from piercing and magic attack, so they have to run away. And this Wind Rider is actually slowed, so it's very, very, very hard to actually micro that at this point. As you can see, it moves so very slow. But over here, we're going to see eMaL doing fairly well. I mean, he did have a rocky start, but, you know, did nice right there, taking the mid-game control of the map, I think, is what I would call it. Map control at the mid-game. Looks like we're going to see another Wind Rider on the way out. Is that going to be 4 Wind Riders? That could be. Let's see, that's 3, 4... yes, indeed, that'll be 4 Wind Riders. Should he decide to make any more, that would be really interesting. But he is currently supply capped at 38 out of 40 food, and Wind Riders are 3 should he decide to make one. And he's going to have another bro finish right now. And so what units are he going to go with next? What units will he go with next? And it looks like more Wind Riders, actually. So we're going to see double Wind Riders. Very interesting. And we're going to see, it looks like eMaLfans coming in here with the Tower Rush, bringing in some Militia, some Ivory Towers. Looks like 2 Ivory Towers. And of course, with the Sorceresses and the Priests right there and those Footmen. We're going to see, it looks like trying to focus down those Sorceresses with those Wind Riders. Going to go ahead and pop a Speed Scroll. That Blade Master is actually not in a great position here. He is tier 3 at this point. He has an Orb of Lightning. Going to go ahead and sell an item. I'm not sure what item he just sold, but he sold something. And he needs to, of course, make room for the healing potion that he was probably should have picked up before he ran away so from that shot. But either way, now we do see him being chased by the Mountain King. Mountain King, not quite enough mana right here to actually bolt him. He needs 75. Over here, we're going to see those Wind Riders. It looks like one of them is about to be picked off, but he does go ahead and manage to pick off all of those casters. I'm pretty sure they're all dead at this point. And he needs to still deal with these guard towers. Of course, Wind Riders can do so very quickly and easily. As you can see right here, they're essentially just like fiends in that regard, except they attack fairly quicker. All things considered, their animation or their projectile launches very, very fast. Now, we will see perhaps another healing wave. Yes, another healing wave going off, keeping these units alive from this Orc player. Really nice. We're going to see Envenomed Spears actually just finished researching. Envenomed Spears essentially turns the Wind Riders attacks into like the Dryad's attack. Of course, you get that stacking poison. Each application of the poison stacks, which is really nice for at least one application per Wind Rider. So that's how they stack their poisons. All poisons in the game stack, I do believe so, in that sense, like each application. And every time a unit will attack again, it should refresh it. But you can have 2 Wind Riders, which will mean you'll have 2 applications of it. So there, if my explanation there is proper, then it'll make sense. And if not, then, well, you know, it might not, but it should. Now, it's been like a year since I've actually played the game, so I do forget things occasionally, get things backwards. So that's a possibility it's wrong, but I'm almost positive. That does sound quite right. But anyway, we're going to see, it looks like now eMaL going to go ahead and take advantage of the fact he's pushed back this tower push, and he's going to come directly into eMaLfans' base, the human player's base. Going to go ahead and try to stop a Griffin Aviary from going up. There's also a guard tower on the way up, but that guard tower has some time before it's rebuilt. That Mountain King had died. I'm not sure when the Mountain King died. I didn't actually see that. I think I was too busy looking at the Wind Riders killing the towers. That's a little bit unfortunate. Sorry for missing that. But the Mountain King has gone down indeed, and he's almost back out. At this point, he is level 2, so it's not a very long revive time. You see that Archmage taking some damage. Perhaps a surround almost going off on that Shadow Hunter. Nope, not going to try to surround with those peasants. Just going to go ahead and turn them into militia. And we're going to see that Archmage actually getting purged. Slowed now. Hits Hex. Is it going to go down? It's going to go down. Down it goes. Nicely done by eMaL to go ahead and pick that off. There are a bunch of footmen right here now. And this really, I think there's 2 Wind Riders. Yes, 1 Wind Rider over here about to go down. Oh, never mind. It's actually just out of range of that water elemental. It did have slow on it. Still has slow on it, so it's going to be very hard to see to get anything there. But we do see a Shadow Hunter actually was indeed surrounded right there, and it looks like he staffed out just with the staff of teleportation. Indeed, he did. Again, really nice move, keeping that alive. Are we going to see a bolt coming in here and killing this Wind Rider? It's a possibility. Nope, not going to happen. Really nice micro there from eMaLfan to move the water elemental back, which would cause the Wind Rider to chase it, as we saw. But also really nice move by eMaL to catch that, and before we let that water elemental turn around and kill him, to back off. So nicely done by both players right there. Cool little tricks, cool little micro while everything else is going on. So there's all that. Down here we do see now the Orc player, eMaL, is going to come down here and creep out this red, it looks like. And he does actually have a tiny Great Hall that he can use. Now he goes ahead and hex the Ogre Magi. That's important because the Ogre Magi will actually cast Bloodlust. That's not something you want on these units. That means you're going to take more damage, and you're going to have a problem with taking damage. Goes ahead and picks up a Tome of Knowledge, is +1 stat to every single one of your attributes. That Blade Master, very low, going ahead and pick up a Healing Wave, no problem. And as well as a Hood of Cunning, which I believe is, yes, Agility and Intelligence. Probably going to have that on the Blade Master, because it's really nice to have that on the Blade Master. It gives you damage and mana for Windwalk and such things, which is really important. Very vital. Very vital. Windwalks are very important, as we've seen in this game. I believe we did watch that Blade Master die actually earlier because he didn't have Windwalk. When he busted the Shadow Hunter out of that surround, he did die, and that was entirely due to the fact that he did not have the mana to Windwalk out. But at the end here, we do see eMaL now with an expansion over here on this map, and this is of course a gold mine that only has 10,000 gold in it at the start. As you can see, it's only it's down to 9,700, so it's not really a whole lot. But over here, as you can see, the middle gold mines actually have 15k starting, and these should have 12.5. So 12.5k, which is essentially the normal starting gold mine amount that you have on a map. I think there are some maps that don't quite conform to that standard. I'm not 100% positive, but I think there are a couple. I'm not sure if they're league maps or not, but I know I've played on some, so I don't know exactly what they are. But anyway, so that is that. We do see a Rune Bracers being picked up by the Blade Master. That is 33% less damage from magic attacks, which is nice, as you can see. And that counts for such things like coil, but particularly in this fight, bolts, storm bolts, which is a really nice thing to be able to reduce the damage from. But anyway, we see a bunch of Wind Riders here. There are three Dragon Hawks out on the field, and it looks like we're going to see this fight going ahead in beginning. There is, of course, an Invoke Potion on this Blade Master. Going to go ahead and try to right-click down the Mountain King. The Mountain King stuns the Blade Master. Will the Blade Master go down? Going to get a Healing Scroll just off in the nick of time. Or, I'm sorry, Healing Wave just off in the nick of the time. Going to go ahead and pop his Invoke Potion and now go back onto that Blade Master. Going to force the Blade Master to also pop his Invoke Potion, which was a 15-second one. Going to be able to get a right-click on that Blade Master and kill him with a bolt. So down goes the bolt. We're going to, or the Blade Master. We're going to see that Shadow Hunter TPing out of here. Some of these Wind Riders are being picked off. There's only one Dragon Hawk left from those original three. Another one has popped out as well. At this point, however, we do see another one also on its way. So even though eMaL, the Orc player, I'm sorry, is behind right now, certainly, definitely behind, he does have an expansion that is allowing him to catch up very quickly, and in fact, probably surpass his opponent. At this point, this expansion is beginning to pay off because he has now mined 1,000 gold from it. And that's about usually the normal, you want to get to that number. But if you go with a tiny Great Hall, about 1,000 gold will pay you off. So, I mean, you have to decide how much do you want to say the peons cost, because, you know, those are probably on wood before, and you probably made maybe 2 or 3 extra, but probably didn't make all 5. And then, you know, the 800 or so gold for the actual item itself. So, etc., etc. But I would say about 1,000 gold pays it off. Over here, we're going to see that eMaLfan, the human player, is now creeping out this middle turtle. Of course, he's going to get a really nice consumable item from that, a Wand of Mana Stealing. Not really the best, actually. Probably the worst drop, in my opinion, out of there. The Wand of Mana Stealing, if I had to rank him, I would say it's like Wand of Mana Stealing is the worst. Above that is the Scroll of a Beast, or the Scroll of the Beast, which is the 25% increased damage for your army for 45 seconds, which is really nice. And in some strategies, I would say it's probably the best item you could get. Because it can really make or break certain strategies, but it's one of those things where it's like, and in most cases, it's probably not as good as, say, the Greater Mana Potion, the Greater Healing Potion, and then, you know, the Greater Invul Potion, which, not the Greater Invul Potion, but just the Potion of Invulnerability, which is 15 seconds. Here we do see that the human has actually discovered eMaL's location, his expansion, and he's going to go ahead and try to take out all 5 of those peons. No problem. That's going to all go down, and we're going to see him going through that base. However, we're going to see now at the same time eMaL saying, well, if you're going to go there, I'm going to go straight to your main base, and I'm going to kill that guard tower instantly. I'm going to try to kill this shop with my heroes. It's actually the Shadow Hunter is attacking the altar for some reason. The Blade Master is killing that shop on his own, and the Wind Riders are taking out these peasants. This should be no problem for eMaL to win this fight, as you can see, or not win the fight itself, but to win this little bit. He does go ahead and take out all of those peasants except one, and this is left a footman actually at this expansion. Not going to be a huge issue. We do see 3 of these militia actually on their way all the way over here. It's going to take them some time to get back. And eMaLfan, now with only 3 peasants in his base, going to be behind a little bit. Because that is an issue. And as you can look over here on this wonderful leaderboard, we can see that eMaLfan is 10 food behind, or 9 food behind in terms of army food, and now it's, you know, 13 food behind. And we do see actually invisible Dragon Hawk Riders, 5 of them right here, which would be really cool. But there are actually 2 Troll Bat Riders right there, so they could really cause some issues should these Dragon Hawks actually decide to open up and get out of here if they're just scouting around right now. Let's see, over here we do see it looks like a peon trying to come in here. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that footman there. Of course, that footman, as you can see, it takes about 4 damage a hit. Looks like, yeah, 4 damage every hit. So that could eventually kill itself on that thing. So it won't be able to actually take that out. No, without a doubt, it will die. But 35 food in terms of army, 45 food overall for eMaLfan, the human player, and for the eMaL himself, the orc player, we see he's at 50 army food with 65 out of 75 or 70 overall. So who's at the advantage? I would have to say eMaL. He does have a level 5 Blade Master, a level 5 Shadow Hunter, and he has an expansion, whereas his opponent has a level 5 Archmage, which just picked up level 4 on his Mountain King. And gonna go ahead and see what item that was. That was, I can't mouse over, Potion of Invulnerability, 15 seconds of invulnerability, as well as +2 to his intelligence with that intelligence stone, which is actually not bad either. Now, there's not a very big caster army on the ground right here. There are all these Dragon Hawk Riders are invisible, however, and the invisibility Lasts fairly long, as you can see. I think it's like 120 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, but I think it's about 120. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. As always, we're going to see a Helm of Valor being picked up for the Blade Master, which is a strength and agility of the hero by 4, and that was actually from this creep, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I actually saw the item. I think something else happened, or maybe, no, maybe that was from this one down here. Maybe he actually come over here and crept that out. I don't know, because I think he got a Hood of Cunning from this one down here, so he must have crept this out, because that's where you get that. Over here, we're actually going to see it looked like a dust. Yes, a dust being picked up on these Dragonhawk Riders. Maybe he saw one of them come uninvis. Going to go ahead and what's a shackle one of these Bat Riders, which is nice to do because those Bat Riders can be a huge pain. There's really no way that eMaLfan, the human player, could really deal with this Orc army should he take it in a direct fight right now. I say that, like, I really don't think he could, but we're going to go ahead and see a Dragonhawk Rider being picked off immediately, as well as a Priest and a Sorceress. And just nice play by eMaL, going ahead and doing the harass that he can do. He could probably run into there if he has a teleport skull, and he does, a town portal. Honestly, I'm not sure why he wouldn't, because if you forced a fight with him in a good position like that, his heroes, of course, kind of come back over this way. I guess that's the only thing, is that since he can't run his heroes back there, then maybe that's why he's not going to run in. But other than that, I mean, really, he would just decimate this army. He's going to go ahead and be able to notice that all of these have been invisible, turned invisible, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. The point is that he knows this happened now. And there's a word right there. And he's going to go ahead and, does he have a dust? I think he has a dust, so he's probably going to expect this. He's probably going to dust here any second now that his Blade Master is back, just to find out, just in case that's going to be the case. If I can make any sense. Whatever I just said didn't make a lot of sense, but I'm expecting him to dust sometime here, just because it would be good if he dusted and then was able to kill these things very quickly. There it is. There's the dust. You go ahead and see a bat going ahead and blowing up. 2 of those Dragonhawk Riders going down immediately. Will he go ahead and kill these things with the rest of his army? Going to go ahead and Town Portal out while he kills one. I think we see one Wind Rider going down right there. So Wind Rider down. And of course over here we do have eMaL still with this expansion running, so he's really not hurting at all to do little exchanges like that. That worked really well for eMaL. And he's going to go ahead and drop something to pick up a Clarity, the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, just for a second, just to pop that Clarity on that Blade Master, get some more mana back. And let's see, over here we're going to see it looks like there are some bats. Of course, all of these Wind Riders are currently slowed. You can't actually win a fight if the casters and all of this are like in a good spot, if they're in a good positioning. But if you can get a good positioning on him, on the human player, he would easily win, easily, hands down. And he's going to go ahead and scout. Doesn't want this Blade Master to actually, or doesn't want the human player to actually go ahead and take an expansion. That would be very unfortunate for him. He's trying to play the resource game at this point. As you can see, the human player is out of mining gold and out of mining gold on the main base for the work. However, of course, he does have that expansion. Over here, we're going to see that the human player has went ahead and creeped out this expansion, or this little slot right here, this gold mine. The final one, they give you a really nice consumable item, goes ahead and gives him a Potion of Invulnerability. So now he has 2 of those. He can put one onto his Archmage, and then if he wants, or keep 2 on his Mountain King, whatever he wants to do. Either way. Down here, we're going to see the militia actually coming in to this expansion, trying to harass the peasant line. The Blade Master is very close by, so he's just going to be able to kill those no problem. And down they go one by one. And of course, they're peasants too, so it's really not going to do a lot either. It's going to be interesting here is the positioning of this final fight, because eMaLfan has one final fight in him, as you can see. That's really all he has. He doesn't have any more gold coming in. He has to do something about this expansion. And the question is, will eMaL, the Orc player, come in here and just deal with this guy, or will he go to the base and deal with his base? Looks like he's confident he can take a fight. He does have 4 Bat Riders, which means he can kill all 4 of those Dragonhawk Riders fairly quickly. Those will go down like nothing, and unless they all happen to shackle bats, but that's not going to be very helpful. I'm going to go ahead and right-click the water elements in here. Going to go ahead and see those bats, just 2 of those bats just messing up those Dragonhawk Riders, no problem. And yeah, this is going to be over, because those casters in this army is just not going to be able to do anything. And that's actually a level 6 Blade Master using Blade Storm. Ouch. Just going to Blade Storm in there and just pick off all those little weak casters. And down they go. You can see a speed scroll being used, just because all of those units are slowed to go ahead and catch up with these casters that are running away, and they're going to go down as well. And I'm expecting to see a good game here from eMaLfan at any point, because this is brutal. He is not in good luck here. He's down to 14 food versus 50 in terms of army, of course. That's 15 out of 60 versus 53 out of 80. The Orc player, of course, just up by so much food. The Mountain King goes down to while he's being hexed, and that's a good game. So there you have it, good game, nicely done by eMaL. It was a nice attempt by eMaLfan, but ultimately, in the end, he just got out economied. So nicely done by both players. I don't really know what to say about it, but yeah, I mean, there you go. There you have it. It's always fun to see masked Wind Riders being used, and casters are definitely a bane of light arrow units such as Wind Riders and Gargoyles without Dispel. But I mean, Speed Scroll does help make up for the fact that, you know, your units are slowed, but it was really the fact that eMaL didn't take a bad fight. If he took a bad fight with those Wind Riders, he probably would have lost a lot of them, and you could see that he TP'd out of those fights. And when he immediately right at the beginning, you could see he was picking off units as he was TPing out. But so really nice play in that regard. But that's a very fragile army. It was definitely an economy-based play. So nicely done and just nice to watch. And that was game 1. This is a best of 3. It's HiNice Cup. If you'd like to watch game 2, click right here, and I'll see you there.